Okay, so moving on to the next part of Medicare, there are really two paths that you can take. About 35 to 40% of my customers will take original Medicare, pay the 144.60 a month because there's really not a lot of options there unless you have employee coverage or something else. And then they will choose to add a Medicare supplement, which works with original Medicare. I find the better plans, the ones that I like, the most attractive to me, are very robust from a hospital and medical perspective. Medicare supplements work with original Medicare only. They don't cover drugs. We add a drug plan. It's kind of like going to a restaurant and getting everything a la carte. However, I think that some of the plans are very robust. They're very strong. So right now what I'm going to do, as I've already explained to you what your responsibilities are, now I'm going to explain to you how some of these plans work and what they will and won't cover. They also allow you to go to any doctor that takes Medicare. They do not go ahead and have networks like the alternative. The alternative to the Medicare supplement, in my opinion, is what a program called the Medicare Advantage program. I'm going to explain that to you as well in a different video. But right now, I want to talk about these costs. These are the ones that concern most people. Currently, none of the Medicare supplements will cover the Part B deductible of $198. They did last year. If you are eligible for Medicare Part A prior to January 1st of 2020, you can still get one, but they do not market it anymore. They've taken Plan C and F off of the market. So when you look at this chart, actually I'm going to put a screenshot of it up here, but this is the Medicare supplemental chart. And when you look at this chart, you can see what plans cover what. One of the plans that I think is attractive to a lot of people is the Plan G. It's probably the most costly of all of them. But Plan G, if you have a Plan G and you go into the hospital for 1 to 60 days, the $1,408, Plan G will cover it. If you're there between 61 and 90 days, Plan G will cover that. From days 91 to 150, it'll cover that. After 150 days in the hospital, Plan G will add 1 year. It'll cover that. Plan G will also cover the skilled nursing from days 21 to 100 at $167 a day. That is not covered by Medicare. The first 20 days is covered by Medicare at 100%. And the 20% on the Part B that Medicare does not pay, Plan G will also pay it. Medicare pays 80, you pay 20, Plan G will cover it. I like that. I hope we could see that. So Plan G, I find, is a robust plan. It's going to cover your hospitalization at 100% along with Medicare for 1 year plus 150 days. It's going to cover you in skilled nursing or therapy for a full 100 days. And after the $198 deductible, it's going to cover the 20% for any physician, therapeutic, visits type of costs, anything under Part B. This also applies to infusion or chemotherapy, any Part B drugs. So it's a very robust plan. Depending upon where you live. In New York State it varies. I'm just south of Albany, maybe 100 miles north of Manhattan. Plan G here, can run anywhere from $220 a month up to $300 a month, depending upon the company. The plans are standardized. Plan G with one company is Plan G with another company. They standardized these plans about 20 years ago. It's an easy comparison, but you have to have a drug plan. This can get costly. So they came up with an alternative. Another plan called the Medicare Advantage, which I'll go into later. Another program that I like with these supplements is Plan N. Plan N on the Part A of Medicare is the same as Plan G. It'll cover this, it'll cover this, it'll cover this, it'll cover this. It'll also cover the skilled nursing beyond 20 days. So from a Part A perspective, Plan N and Plan G are identical. Where it differs is on the Part B. It will pay the 20%, but you will have to pay up to $20 for every office visit. That's your maximum. Some doctors will charge, most doctors are going to charge you $20, but that's all you're going to pay. If you go to the emergency room, you're going to pay $50. This is for ER. Other than that, It's the same program from a Part A perspective. That's the difference on Part B, in addition to something called excess charges, which are charges above what Medicare approves, that is limited depending upon your state, your county. Sometimes it can vary. Really rare that I see that these days, but they do exist. Doctors used to be able to charge whatever they wanted, and whatever Medicare approved, Medicare paid 80% of. And the difference was really on the consumer. Medicare has squashed that. They're limiting how much doctors can charge you these days. So just be aware of that. The difference in Plan G is significant, in my opinion. Here in the Hudson Valley, it's between 160, 250, and 219. So that's a significant difference in premium, where you're not giving up an awful lot, in my opinion. We still have to find you a drug plan. There are other programs that I see people buying. People buy, Plan B. I see that a lot. One thing the one thing I don't see Plan B covering is this skilled nursing for 176 days. Plan B does not cover that. Those are the most popular plans that I see. But any plan on this chart that says they're going to cover, the Part A deductible will cover this. You're going to have that on plans B, D, G, and N, as well as C and F. And you're going to have it on K and L, but you're only going to have a percentage. I'm not really here to talk about those plans. There's other alternatives I think you're going to find more attractive. Again, this is just a video so that you can understand how Medicare works. These are your concerns if you have Medicare. The 20% that Medicare is not paying, this is a big one, in the $1,408. Please stand by. I'm going to come up with another video in a few minutes.